Welcome to Hiker Homily for the week of October 1st, 2018. That's Hiker Homily number 37. Holy mackerel, we're in October. Here we are. This week for our hiker topic, and as you can see, I'm back outside again. It's such a nice day. I decided not to bother with getting the screen out, do a little shooting outside here, take advantage of the nice weather. We were supposed to get rain today. You see any rain back there? No. Yeah, they said late last night that the forecast changed, that looks like the rain's going to be delayed, and we ended up having an absolutely beautiful day. Unfortunately, I had to spend part of my day over at the doctor's office and part of my day at jury duty, but jury duty was dismissed. I don't have to worry about doing a trial, so yay, I'm done with that for a year or two. So this week our topic is going to be trail permits, and I know right away some of y'all who are not West Coasters, California, are like, what is that? What are you talking about? Because there are a lot of parts of the country, there's no such thing as a trail permit. You want to go hiking, you just go hiking. And we have spots like that all over in California, absolutely, we do. But then there are other trails, everything from small little regional park trails all the way to large national trails that require permits for you to be on them. And there are various reasons for that. And the thing that really surprised me when I started getting back into hiking in this new era of hiking, the digital age of hiking, I should say, where you can see it on YouTube and videos like that, different from when I started hiking, 30 or 40 years ago. And I think I'm actually going to do a hiker homily on that, the difference between back then and now. But getting back on topic, here I am rambling already. Not even 3 minutes into the video, I'm already rambling. Trail permits are a thing, and part of what surprised me when I got back into hiking is not that there were trail permits, but some of the hikers' responses to having to do permits and stuff. They, as usual, they take this stance that it's the government telling me I can't go hiking and telling me when and where I can go hiking, and there's just no other reason for it as far as they're concerned. It's just the government being mean to them specifically, and it's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous attitude. I think it's childish. I gotta be frank about that. If you have gone on any of some of these trails and things, even huge trails like the Pacific Crest Trail, it is starting to show their wear and their damage. Because unfortunately, as much as you want to rail about how the government is just mean to hikers, there are people in the hiking community that are just a-holes. And a trail to them is just another thing to mark off on a list. And they do it as expediently as they can. And they don't give a damn about leave no trace. They don't give a damn about where they leave their waste, that they litter, that they leave fecal-filled toilet paper and piles of excrement near the trail and things like that. They just don't care. And so what does that have to do with trail permits? Well, part of that is sheer numbers. There are people who do care about the trail but are forced into crazy situations just because of the number of people. For example, the Lost Coast Trail this last summer, most of the little established camp areas will fit groups of maybe 8, okay? And when we went, it was full. We got to the one by Sea Lion Rock, right by Sea Lion Gulch, and there was no room. We had to find another place to camp, and that meant matting down some of the plants or the grass and stuff that's further up the trail and things like that. And we didn't want to do that, but we needed a place. There was nowhere else to go to camp because the actual campgrounds that were established were full. Now, we didn't build fire or any of that kind of thing. We didn't mess things up that badly. We just found a place that we could lay our tents down and things like that. But that's what I'm talking about, and that is a permitted trail. Whether there are people out there not following the permit system or not, I have no idea because I'm not a ranger. I'm not checking permits and stuff. But I know we had our permit for our particular group, and only a certain amount of people are supposed to leave from one side or the other in a day because they're trying to control how many people show up at some of these campgrounds. Well, the Pacific Crest Trail and the John Muir Trail is another big one in California. All of those, Mount Whitney, some of those. That's the main reason that there are permits, is because they are trying to cope with the sheer numbers of people who want to do this trail. And of course, a lot of them want to do it about the same time of year. You want to go up there after the snow is gone if you can, or pretty much gone. It's not really an issue anymore. The weather's got a better chance of being better. And so most people are going up in the late spring, early summer. And that's also when a lot of them can get time off of work and things like that. And so you have this massive group of people who all want to do this trail, but a lot of them want to do it about the same time of year. And you're going to get a trail that's just clogged with people. And that's not fun. It's not fun to be, going up these mountains. And I'm sure some of you have been there. If you've ever done the Yosemite Half Dome hike, even now that it requires a permit and things like that, you're literally, it's like a Disneyland line going up the... to get to the very top of it, you've got these cables that you're holding on to, and you're going up these things, and you're behind another person who's behind another person who's behind another person. It's literally a line of people going up and down this thing. It looks like a Disneyland line during the peak seasons and stuff like that, and that's even with permits required. That you just nobody can just walk up and start doing it. You need a permit to do it, and there's people there checking permits and things. And so even with that crowd control in place, it's still that last part still like you're in a line, you're in a queue somewhere and things. And so that's my big thing, is for the most part I am not rankled by permits. I understand why they're there. Am I unhappy if I try to get on it? If we decided we're going to try and do the Lost Coast Trail, that was one of the trails that's on my bucket list. I've always wanted to do it. And so we decided in the club that I'm in, we're going to try and do that. Now, if she had called and wasn't able to get permits for it this year, I would have been disappointed, I'm not going to lie. Would I blame the permit system? No, I get why it's there, especially now that I've been on the trail and seen some of the wear and tear that the trail is dealing with. I get it. I get why the permit system is there, and it isn't the government's just being mean to me and taking away my freedoms. That's not what it is. It's all kinds of different things like that. Sometimes certain areas are permitted because there are parts, like there's the hike I want to do from Fremont Peak down to Sunol Regional Park. There's a certain section of that. You need a regional park permit to walk that trail, because a certain couple of mile section of that trail is actually not owned by the regional park. It is owned by the San Francisco Water Department or something like that. And so the water department has said, yep, we get it, there's a trail going through our property that's there, and so we need you guys to regulate who's going on that and how many are going on it. And so it's a permit system. If you want to get on that particular part of the trail, because of that couple of miles that's within the San Francisco Water Agency's property, you have to have a East Bay Regional Park permit. And it's not that big of a deal. The permit costs, if you want it, if you go pick it up, it costs like $2 if you get it at one of the ranger stations. $2, big deal. And the actual permit is a map of the area. It's a really nice map. I should have brought it out to show you. I didn't think about that. It's a nice map, but it's you put your permit number up here and your name and stuff like that, and that's your permit is your map of the area. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it's just it's not someone being mean. It's not someone trying to take away your fun. It's there are reasons for it. There's private property rights to be upheld. There's trying to keep the numbers controlled on what's on the trail and things like that. Another big one is safety and security. There's a lot of ones where it's like the permit doesn't cost you a thing. You just fill out a piece of paper and turn it into the ranger, and you've got a permit. We did that this summer for our Boy Scout trip to Bear Lake. We filled out a thing, told them how many people, when we were going to be up there, where we were going, when we expected to be out, and stuff like that. Filled that paper out. It took 5 minutes. They handed us our wilderness permit. Off we went. Now, obviously, because it's free and things like that, and there wasn't any real restrictions on it and things like that, that's just basically the ranger being able to check who's going up there, why they're going up there. They can give you any information that needs to be, like at that time, they gave us the information that there's no open fires allowed. Sorry, you can use your camp stoves, but no fires in even established fire pits because it's very dry. They're able to pass that information on to us because we were face-to-face getting it. And they knew approximately how many people were going to be in what area for how much time. And so if they got a phone call saying, hey, I'm the wife or mom of so-and-so, I haven't heard from them in a while, they've got information. Oh, so-and-so, they were in that group that's going to be by Bear Lake, and they were supposed to come out yesterday, and this person hasn't heard from them. Okay, we know where to start searching, right? And that's where they're going to go. They're going to go to Bear Lake and start the search from there to see what's going on, and are we just taking an extra day, or is there something happening? So it's a safety thing as well. And that's really my take on trail permits. I don't see them as this evil plot by the government to restrict our freedoms. I understand that there are certain parts of the country that there's no such thing as a trail permit. You don't have to deal with it at all, and power to you. Hopefully your trails aren't being damaged, and if you're because that's the other thing too, is it happens a lot out here because the population out here in California, we're stacked up in the cities and stuff, and so when people get a hankering to get out of the city and go up into the wilderness and all that kind of stuff, we're talking big numbers of people who pour into the mountains and stuff, and so I get it. In other states, you might not have that issue so much, so you don't have to take those steps because your population's a little bit smaller. You don't have to worry about that, and people are out there, and I got to admit, there's probably less people who are not as respectful out here. Unfortunately, there's folks out in the wilderness who just don't care sometimes. It's just like, I want to do this trail so I can mark it off of a list and say I did it. And while I'm doing the trail, I'm going to drop trash because I don't give a shit. And, I'm not going to bother with any kind of leave no trace. I've never heard of it. So I'm going to take a poop right here 3 steps away from the trail because it's convenient. I'm going to cover it with toilet paper and throw a rock on it, and I'm done. And I'm going to walk on down the trail. Yeah. It happens, and I don't want to say it happens more out here, but that's a possibility, and yeah. So you're trying to figure out who's out there and stuff, and it's just, trail permits. They do serve a purpose. It's a couple of purposes, and it's a good couple of purposes as far as I'm concerned. Your take on it, let me know. As usual, if you have a take on it yourself, you disagree with me or you agree with me, and you can say it respectfully, just give your opinion, you can contact me at hikingforhealthca@gmail.com or on Instagram or on Facebook. I have a page there too. Let me know what you think. Other than that, our topic for this week was trail permits, and that is Hiker Homily 37 for October 1st. Wow. And we're moving on. We're getting close to the end of the year and stuff like that. So, hey, thanks a lot, as always, for watching, sticking with this goofy little channel, and we will see you next week.